but Creighton beat Louisville in the first game of the day, believe it or not, and it was technically an upset. And so now, see, this is why I was looking so forward to the first round matchups or second round matchups, because it's now that we're getting Creighton versus Auburn, and they're basically. I mean, I'm not going to say they're mirror images of each other, but I mean, Creighton wants to put up 33s a game too. You know,
they got shooters, man.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like they're going to be live. I know the number came out. I think it's 10.5. I'm loving Creighton.
I mean, it's a lot of points to give this Creighton team with arguably as good of an all-around big man as there is in the country in Kalkbrenner. And I just think right now Jemiah Neal's playing at a different level, and that changes Creighton. That they might be better now because they were forced to have to give the ball to Jemiah Neal than it being dominated by Pop Isaacs back when they were playing in November, in a way. It just forced him to have to take on a bigger role. He's been consistent. McAndrew hit a couple big threes today. I mean, they're going to need to make 10 threes to win this game. But they can.
I think, and to your point, Neal was dynamite today. He's been great down the stretch for them. And obviously, like you said, he stepped up for Pop Isaacs. He's been really the X factor for that team because he kind of pushed them over the top so that they can.
They're going to need him against Auburn. Too.
Oh, they're going to need him because
big physical.
Yep, and he's he's the one guy that can kind of go get one himself. Yep. He can make some tough shots, not consistently, but enough to stop the bleed, put them over the top. But I think they really match up well. And the Kalkbrenner situation is going to be a problem, I feel like, for Auburn. So, not saying that they're going to be able to come out and just dominate the game, but I do think it'll be interesting. They'll be able to keep it close. They'll cause some problems from Auburn that they won't be used to, and they'll be able to guard some of that flex action. They're gonna park Kalkbrenner right in front of that paint and try to take away all the layups and easy baskets and fouls and things like that and make them try to beat them shooting jump shots.
Which I'd like to ask Brooks about, like, when you're doubling the post, right? Like, do you designate a guy to run down and double, and then when you guys double, the rotation's out of it? Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing. If you're going to double Kalkbrenner, great, cool, awesome. We saw it today, like, with Louisville. They didn't do a great job of it. They tried to double them because the rotations out of the double weren't great. Right. So if you do it, if you're going to double them, your rotations out of that double have to be unbelievable, right?
For sure, yeah. Like, when we would be playing, like, I was always the guy that would go double, and how we would kind of do it, it was different. Our scheme was very elaborate, and the guy who runs our defense is Chris Lowry. He used to be a head coach at SIUE. Great coach, great defensive coach, great defensive mind. And trying to describe it as best as I can is, so, you go on the dribble, because if you go when they're facing up, then especially if they got shooters, they can pick you apart. But if you go on the dribble, and he kind of got to turn his back, or just when he's not looking, I would go. And then you kind of got to take, like, you kind of got to angle it so it's kind of make him, so you want to make him pick it up. But if he dribbles it back out, you got to get right out, because what we're doing on the backside is we're forming the eye, which is where you're talking about the rotations and how you come out. So when you form the eye, it's the two guys doubling. The other guy's going to come over and try to get to the the wing for to be the outlet. That guy, you can't let that pass go out, because then they'll whip it around for threes, kind of what you saw in the Louisville game. But if he goes and you deny that out, it's basically 2 versus 3 on the backside. But the top guy always has first pass. Yep. And so that's like where the thing is. And the top guy gets first pass. That guy in the bottom has to flow out to the next guy. And then me or whoever was in the double team has to get over to the big that's on the block, which would be my original man with the 4-man. And then you get elaborate. And if you face a Julian Reese who really wants to get to his left, then you just force him left. And you might have to come double from the bottom now, whereas not from the top. So then the top of the eye got to run to the corner off rip, because that's the only place he can throw it to. And then the guy that doubling have to have his hands up so you can't get beat on the slot cut. So it's very elaborate, but
you should hire him.
We're going to bring you a grease board tomorrow.
We're
going to do a little chalk talk tomorrow.
Rotations out of the double. We're trying to get into the media, but you should hire him.
He's going to be my GM.
For sure. I'm there.
So obviously, great year for Louisville, given all their injury situation.
They had a hell of a year.
But
to flip that program that quickly, and you could do it in this era. Obviously, a lot
I totally
easier.
agree. Yeah.
But Pat Kelsey was clearly the right hire for that program at this time.
Yeah, no, he has juice. He has juice. He came in. He was tweeting about the Revival and stuff, and he did it. I mean, 18 ACC wins in year one. I mean,
Crazy.
I know it was a down ACC, but you should never apologize for that. I mean, that's a fantastic year considering how many years would it have taken Kenny Payne to get 18 ACC wins?
10
10 years.
Four,
No,